Belief is a leap of faith, which means I don't know. You don't believe things you know, and you don't know things that you believe. We've all heard about the four sons on the Seder, at the Seder table. The smart son, the wicked son, the simple son, and the son that doesn't know how to ask. The entire retelling of the Exodus from Egypt is based on question and answer. You get your child to ask a question, and then you provide the answer. You arouse their curiosity, and then you explain things. That is the most effective, the most desirable way of teaching. In fact, if the child doesn't ask a question, we go out of our way to stimulate a question, to encourage asking. So in order to be able to think clearly so that the communication is successful and the learning actually happens, we need to define things so that we're not talking code language. Because very often we use words that we haven't defined. And then instead of clarifying things, we're just muddying everything up even more than before. So for example, the question, what is different about this night from all other nights? What makes this night different from all other nights? What is it about this night? Those are good questions. The right way to word a question. Why is this night different? Not so good. The why question is often misunderstood because why is more likely a complaint and an objection than a real question. A real question begs for an answer. A real question is the pursuit of knowledge. Why is very often not a question at all. Like when you tell a child it's time to go to sleep and the child says, "Why do I have to?" It doesn't really want an explanation about the need for sleep. And that's why when you tell them, it doesn't help. So, if you don't go to sleep on time, you're going to wake up tired tomorrow, or you're going to have a miserable day at school. Nothing registers. Because why do I have to is not asking for information. It's simply letting you know that he has no intentions of going to sleep. It's a resistance, it's an objection, it's a complaint. So he's complaining that he doesn't want to go to sleep, and you're lecturing him about the virtues of sleep. He's not listening. And that's not a good habit to get into, that you speak and he doesn't listen, because that can become a habit. Tunes you out. So the first thing is, when you ask a question, it should be what, how, who, never why. And in Hebrew, the difference is between the word ma, which means what, and the word lama, which means why. At the Seder, on Pesach night, we ask ma nishtana, not lama. Not why is this night different, what is different about this night. In a relationship, it's even more important. When people reveal something of themselves, a fear, a concern, a preference, and you say why, sounds like a rejection. So we would be better off without that word altogether. And now you know why. So really, It shouldn't be, why do you ask why? What are you trying to accomplish by asking why? See, that's a good question. Why ask why? That's cute. But it's not clear. It doesn't lead to clarity of thought. Another really simple principle is the distinction between intelligence and faith. People are talking casually and they say, I believe that things are going to get better in the Middle East. Do you believe or do you know? You meant to say that you think that it's going to happen. You said, I believe it will happen. Use words more precisely. Belief is a leap of faith, which means I don't know. I believe. Belief is super rational. You don't believe things you know, and you don't know things that you believe. Belief is the tool we have in our repertoire, in our little tool case, with which we handle things we can't understand. Can't understand. So belief should be reserved for a subject that not only don't I understand, but I can't understand. It's a mysterious notion, a mysterious reality or fact. How do I handle that? Can't wrap my mind around it, so I use faith. I trust it, I believe in it, I rely on it, but I don't know it. When I do know it, then belief is not necessary. In other words, they're not interchangeable. Believing is rational, faith is super-rational. And the same is true with doubt. Not knowing and having doubts are two very different things. When I don't know something, there is no doubt about it. I don't know. So if I say, I doubt it. No, I don't doubt it. I know nothing about it. There is nothing uncertain in my mind. I am certain that I don't know. So why would I say, is there life on Mars? I doubt it. I have no doubt that I have no idea about whether there is life on Mars or not. So I should get comfortable saying, I don't know. Why are you even asking me? I have doubts means I have reason to believe there is, and I have reason to believe there's not, and I can't resolve my doubt. But I have no reason to believe there is. I have no reason to believe there's not. I just don't know. So ignorance and doubt are also not interchangeable. So be clear as to what your intention is. So let's use a little example. What exactly is faith? What do you mean you believe or don't believe? An explorer comes back from Australia. First explorer to return from down under. And he says to you, I saw an animal that hops around on two hind legs, and the female carries the baby in a pouch, in a pocket. If you were to say, I don't believe that, are you being intelligent? Would an intelligent person say, I don't believe that? Would believing that make you an unintelligent person? Gullible? Naive? No, not at all. The explorer says, I saw an animal down there that carries its babies in a pouch. You say, I don't believe that. On what grounds? What makes you say I don't believe it? Because you never saw such a thing. You never heard of such a thing. That means you have just heard something new to your experience. Isn't that how we learn anything we learn? So what does it mean, I don't believe that? You're accusing the man of being a liar? Why would you do that? You're saying, I can't believe that because I've never heard of it and I've never seen it. That is an irrational statement because you're talking to an explorer. By definition, an explorer is somebody who gets to see things you don't see, who gets to experience things you don't experience. That's why they get the big bucks. That's what an explorer is. So to say to an explorer, oh, I never saw anything like that. Of course you didn't. I'm the explorer. So the problem with that response is that you're confusing knowledge with belief. This is not an occasion for belief. He's not asking you to take a leap of faith. He's simply telling you a fact. You didn't see it, he did see it. If we never trusted people who had experiences other than our own, we would still be living in caves. If you cannot know something unless you saw it yourself, then you don't really need a brain at all. All you need are eyes. The function of a brain is to be able to understand, comprehend, and grasp things you did not see. So every time you hear something you never heard before, you've learned something new, and it should feel exciting, stimulating, intriguing. So what would be an intelligent response? He says there's an animal down there that carries its babies in a pouch. Well, don't you want to know where the pouch is? Don't you want to know at what age the baby goes into the pouch? Until what age does it stay in the pouch? Those would be intelligent questions. And you would come away knowing something about kangaroos. But to make that snap judgment, I do believe, I don't believe, it's inappropriate. Try the positive and see what it sounds like. The explorer says, I saw an animal down there that carries its babies in a pouch. You say, oh, I believe that. What kind of ridiculous sentence? What are you saying? You worship it now? Don't worship kangaroos. Just get more information. See, we do this all the time. God created the world in 6 days. Oh, I don't believe that. Why? Do you have conflicting information? That doesn't make sense to you? Why doesn't it make sense to you? Oh, I never saw God. Somebody did. Well, they were hallucinating. What makes you think that? So if somebody comes along and says God created the world in 6 days, you should ask for more information. Don't decide whether you believe it or don't believe it. We're not talking about faith here. God spoke to us at Mount Sinai 3,000 years ago. Yeah, I believe that. That's a ridiculous statement. I don't believe that. Inappropriate. Off topic. So, faith and intelligence are not interchangeable. A scientist back in the early 60s said to the Rebbe, as religious Jews, we don't believe in life on other planets, do we? And the Rebbe said, believe? You're a scientist. Go take a look. Don't use faith where knowledge is accessible. If you can get to know it, then it is not a topic for faith. You're too lazy to go take a look, so say, I don't know. Don't introduce faith where it doesn't belong. Don't introduce the absence of faith where it doesn't belong. So to say, I don't believe God created the world. I don't believe he gave the Torah at Mount Sinai. Based on what? Based on what? If you have suspicions, well, do some research. Don't resort to faith. So there are people who look at religion as simple-minded. What, you just believe that without evidence? Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's not an intelligent approach. But when you say, I don't believe that, without evidence, just as ridiculous. So the first thing we need to do is define. Define what we're talking about. Don't use words that are vague, indistinct, mysterious, or just familiar. Like, for example, what is a woman? We've talked about women for thousands of years. We've debated it, we've argued it, we've fought over it. And then somebody says, by the way, what is a woman? And nobody knows? You have to study biology? So what are all the conversations we've had until today? They're all nonsense. We argued about what women should have, shouldn't have, can't have, would have, what they're good at, and we don't even know what a woman is. It's embarrassing. Clear thinking means, before we get into a conversation, let's define our terms. So, why do you believe in... Okay, what does belief mean? Here's a simple example. If you could prove to me that there's a God, then I would believe it. If I could prove to you there's a God, you wouldn't have to believe it. Then you would know it. Keep things clear. You believe in something when you don't have proof. That's what belief means. So prove it to me and I'll believe. You're confused on both counts. You're not clear what knowledge is, and you're not clear what faith is. And so you're confusing them. The important thing is, we must be encouraged to ask questions. There's no better avenue to knowledge and understanding than questions. A society or a school or a movement, a religion that doesn't allow questions is simply insecure, probably doesn't have good answers, and therefore discourages questions. Questions must always be encouraged. But ask a question intelligently, and you will receive an intelligent answer. Student asks a teacher a question, an intelligent question. He will get an intelligent answer. Sometimes the intelligent answer on the teacher's part is, I don't know. That's an intelligent answer. I have doubts, not intelligent. I don't believe it, not intelligent. So, is this a legitimate question? Why do you believe what you believe? First of all, don't say why. Okay, what makes you believe that? Good question. Are you asking the person to prove that what he believes is true? Then you're confused, and you're confusing the teacher. If I had proof to what I believe, I wouldn't be believing it. I would be knowing it. What makes you believe means, why did you choose to make this leap of faith, which you can't prove? But you chose to believe it. What made you choose to believe? It's a very good question. Usually the answer is, I like the results. I can't prove that what I'm saying is true. But if it is true, there will be certain results, certain consequences. I like those consequences. For example, I choose to believe that the creator of the world is intelligent and has a purpose. Can I prove it? I can't prove it. So why do I believe it? Or what made me believe it? Well, because if it is true, then my existence has a purpose. I like that. So I'm taking a leap of faith, but I'm doing it to get to somewhere I understand, appreciate, and want. But if the objective of my faith is also irrational, I believe it even though I don't understand it, and I will get to some place I don't understand. Well, now I'm a totally irrational human being. You can even call it superstition. So hopefully this clarifies what clarity means. Definitions. We need to define what we're talking about. You want to promote women's rights? The first step is tell me what a woman is. If you can't define it, stay away from the subject. It's not your field of expertise. That's clear thinking. If you enjoyed this conversation or this topic, and you're looking for more information, or you want to hear it again from another angle, there is a way to do that. And that is in this book. It's all there. Order it from Amazon. You can read it, reread it, and share it in this book. It's all there. Order it from Amazon. You can read it, reread it, and share it. I want to invite you to join us as VIPs, partners in our work, and join us also for a personal chat with other members of the VIP club. We talk about many things,
There's an opportunity to ask, to respond, to make a comment, to meet the other supporters. And together we can really make a difference in Jewish life and in life in general. So join us. It's goodtoknow.org. Log in, call, make contact, and join us with the VIPs.